Hello everyone, this is Alfia Tansal, lecturer in physics of Arihant College of Arts, Commerce and Science. In today's lecture, we are going to study about electromagnetic induction. Now before we begin with electromagnetic induction, we are aware about certain things. That is, force is equals to QVB sine theta. This is the force that has been experienced by a moving charge in a magnetic field. Now before we begin, what is electromagnetic induction? Electromagnetic induction is also known as EMI. It was discovered by Michael Faraday and James Clerk Maxwell. It is a current produced because of voltage production, EMF, due to charging magnetic field. This either happens when a conductor is placed in a moving magnetic field or when a conductor is constantly moving in a stationary magnetic field. Talking about Faraday's law, there are certain observations that Faraday had discovered. He placed a magnet with a coil which has n number of turnings that has been attached to a galvanometer. Now when a magnet approaches a closed circuit consisting of a coil, it produces a current in it. This current that is produced is known as induced current. When a magnet is taken away from the closed circuit, a current is again produced. But this current is produced in the opposite direction with respect to the induced current produced in the previous experiment. Instead of the magnet, if the coil is moved towards the magnet or away from it, an induced current is produced in the coil. If the polarity of the approaching or receding magnet is changed, the direction of the induced current in the coil is also changed. Nextly, the magnitude of induced current depends on the relative speed of the coil with respect to the magnet. It also depends upon the number of turns in the coil. The induced current exists so long as there is relative motion between the coil and the magnet. Now, if we change the position by replacing the bar magnet by a second current carrying coil that was connected to a battery, then that would be analogous to the previous one. As we move the second coil towards the primary coil, the pointer in the galvanometer undergoes deflection, which indicates the presence of electric current in the first coil. Similar to the above, here too the direction of the deflection of the pointer depends upon the direction of the motion of the secondary coil towards or away from the primary coil. Also, the magnitude of deflection depends upon the speed with which the coil is moved. So we can say that the system in the second case is analogous to the system in the first case. Same if two stationary coils are connected, one of them to the galvanometer, another to a battery through a push button. When the button is pressed, the galvanometer in the coil shows a deflection, indicating the presence of the current in that coil. Also, the deflection in the pointer was temporary, and if pressed continuously, the pointer shows no deflection, and when the key was released, the deflection occurred in the opposite direction. Now talking about Faraday's law. What did Faraday state? Faraday's first law states that whenever there is a change in the magnetic flux associated with a coil, an EMF is induced in the coil, or the magnitude of the induced EMF is directly proportional to the rate of the change of magnetic flux through a coil. Talking about the second law. The second law says the magnitude of the induced EMF is directly proportional to the rate of change of magnetic flux through the coil. It is known as a qualitative law. It gives the magnitude of induced EMF. If phi is the magnetic flux linked with the coil at any instant, say t, then the induced EMF will be E is directly proportional to d phi by dt. E is equals to k into d phi by dt, where k is the constant of proportionality. To remove the proportionality sign, we induce a constant, that is k over u. Now, if E, phi and t are measured in the same system units, then k is equals to 1. So we get E is equals to d phi by dt. If we combine these expressions with the first law, we get E is equals to minus d phi by dt. Now, if we are consisting a coil of n turns, the total magnetic flux here is going to be E equals to minus n d phi by dt. This is known as the flux rule, according to which the EMF is equal to the rate at which the magnetic flux through a conducting circuit is changing. In SI unit, E is measured in volt and d phi by dt is measured in Webers per second. Now, if we are talking about electromagnetic induction, what do we mean by it? Basically, it is a phenomena of producing an induced EMF in a conductor or a conducting coil due to changing magnetic flux is called as electromagnetic induction. Talking about applications of Faraday's law. Electrical equipments like transformers work on the basis of Faraday's law. Induction cooker works on the basis of mutual induction, which is the principle of Faraday's law. By inducing an electromotive force into an electromagnetic flow meter, the velocity of the fluids are recorded. Electric guitar and electric violin, which many of them are familiar with, are the musical instruments that find an application of Faraday's law. Well, Maxwell's equation is also based on the converse of Faraday's law, which states that the change in the magnetic field brings a change in the electric field. These were the applications of Faraday's law. Lenz's law. What does a Lenz law state? The direction of induced current in a circuit is such that the magnetic field produced by the induced current opposes the change in the magnetic flux that induces current. The direction of induced EMF is same as that of induced current. If we are talking Lenz's law in the light of principle of conservation, then how do we come to it? See, basically, if we are talking about the explanation of Lenz's law, induced current is caused by two things. Firstly, the motion of a conductor in a magnetic field, the change of magnetic flux through a stationary circuit. Now, in the first case, the direction of the induced current in the moving conductor is such that the direction of the thrust exerted on the conductor by the magnetic field is opposite to the direction of the motion and thus opposes the motion of the conductor. Whereas if you're talking about the second case, the current sets up a magnetic field of its own, which within the area is bounded by the circuit is either opposite to the original magnetic field if the field is increasing, in the same direction as the original field if the field is decreasing. Thus, it is the change in the flux through the circuit which is opposed by induced current. Lenz's law follows directly from the conservation of energy. If an induced current flows in a circuit in such a direction that it helps the cause that produces it, then it can be found that the induced current and magnetic flux penetrating the loop would lead to an infinite growth. The induced current, once started flowing in the loop, would keep increasing indefinitely, producing Joule heating at no extra cost and thus be self-sustaining. Though this will violate the law of conservation of energy, thus Lenz's law is a necessary consequence of the law of conservation of energy. The opposing sense of induced current is one manifestation of general statement of Lenz's law, which states every effect of induction acts in opposition to the cause that produces it. Now, if we talk about how Lenz's law has been incorporated in the Faraday's law, we are very well aware that d phi is equals to b into dA. If we write in terms of vector, we get mod p into dA into cos theta, where d phi over here is nothing but the flux of B through the area dA and is a scalar quantity. Phi over here is the angle between the direction of magnetic field B and direction assigned to the area dA. To obtain the flux over a finite area S, the area is divided into section of area dA. Flux over each section is calculated and then the entire area is integrated. Thus, the flux passing through S is equals to phi integration in the range of S B into dA. Now, since the magnetic field at every point changes with time as well, the flux phi will also change with time. Phi is equals to phi into T equals to B into T into dA. As per Faraday's discovery, the rate of change of flux d phi by dt is related to the work done to take a unit positive charge around the contour C in the reverse direction. This work done is just the EMF. Accordingly, Faraday's law states that the induced EMF can be written as E is equals to minus d phi by dt equals to minus d phi by dt integration B into T into dA. This equation shows that even if B does not change with time, flux may still vary if the area S changes with time. There are certain formulas which are important here for EMI. Del phi is equals to B into del of A, that is the change in the flux. E equals to del phi by del T equals to N into B into del A into del T, that is the induced EMF. Omega is equals to 2 pi F. Magnetic flux density B equals to mu 0 N into I. The flux linkage is equals to N into phi. Average EMF is equals to E of average equals to change in flux upon time. E is equals to B into L into V, that is equals to B L V into sin theta.